welcome to another show, all you headbangers. Today we're going to talk about Black Sabbath. Today they actually dropped their album on June 11th, 2013. That's actually called 13, but that's not without a lot of different things going on within their careers. There's been several change-ups and different styles of singing and so forth have been presented. Just to give you a quick overview, that we had Tony Iommi, who actually overcame some, issues with a finger that was slightly amputated during his days in the metal industry, before being in the band that was formed in 1968. Then we had Geezer Butler as the bassist, and then we had Ozzy Osbourne, of course, which many of us are familiar with, as actually the lead singer in that band that started. And then we had Bill Ward, who was actually the drummer in that band. Now, they've had a lot of change-ups, like I mentioned earlier, and they were kind of a blues rock, but we probably can think of Tony Iommi as actually being the founder of the style of drop D tuning, partly because of his finger, amputation and having to overcompensate for that. But that style of music has actually influenced much of the metal we listen to today, which is, quite powerful, and that drop D tuning has allowed for a lot. So we had Ozzy in the band, and he did several different albums along the way, up until about 1979 when he was replaced by Ronnie James Dio, who just recently passed last year. It was a great loss. However, the style of singing was slightly different, and Dio had came from the bands like Rainbow earlier in the years, prior to actually coming to the band in 1979. But Ozzy was actually out because of his heavy drug use. That was partly why he left, and they replaced him with Ronnie James Dio. Now, Ian Gillan was also another singer, was in the band. Glenn Hughes was one. Ray Glenn, Tony Martin. There were several different people. Some of the multiple members of Deep Purple were actually in that band, which led to some changes in style of the music. However, the roots were always the same. We think about some of their albums, probably Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules are the ones that come to light, and the reality is those were actually Ronnie James Dio singing in those. However, the songs like Paranoid and Iron Man we attribute to Ozzy Osbourne. Now, their new album actually dropped today, and it's a little bit darker and a little bit heavier from what I've already heard, and I think that's going to be kind of more fitting for today's style of music. We need to take out some time in our day, go over and check out the new album. I'm sure you can find it anywhere. You can find it in your local stores. They do have different versions of them out. One is actually, I saw for about $12 you can pick up the normal CD, but for $3 more you get 3 more bonus tracks that aren't on that CD. And if you spend about $30, you can pick up a new album with actually a T-shirt that goes along with it. So there's some things there. However, Black Sabbath has been one of those pioneering bands that have been in the industry for quite some time. And Ozzy Osbourne's vocals kind of started the process. Tony Iommi and Geezer Butler actually went through the process of continuing the band after he left and after they changed up singers many times. And they're worth going back and listening to. There's definitely some differences in each one of them. Some of the songs I actually liked came from the Dio years. And there's, again, there's a little controversy over that. There was apparently some, bad blood between Bill Ward and Dio when he was in it, Ronnie James Dio, because of the fact that they didn't really get along. He didn't like his singing style and so forth. However, it still proves that the band has what it takes to still make it today. They're releasing the album again today, and it's not too many bands that are actually still around that are actually able to produce that. I mean, these guys aren't young. Most of them were born about 1948. So if we do the math on that, they're up there in age. But however, they're still out there rocking and headbanging, and they were again the pioneers that started the music. So head on over and take a listen to their new album. Check it out. Pick it up, buy it if you really like it, and see them in concert when they actually do some tours. They're going to be on tour, I'm sure, this summer. It's going to probably be one of the last shows we're probably going to see from this band, I would imagine, or in the next coming years, because of the fact they are getting up in age. So see them before it's too late. Ronnie James Dio passed last year, from stomach cancer, and so we'll never be able to see him again in live in concert. We can only see the footage that was actually videoed during his lifetime, just as we will with any of these bands that we're following. So again, I hope you enjoyed this little news break, and sit back, relax, check out the new album. Till next time.